Hey, hello, good afternoon. Yes, Judy Tan, hello. Judy, yes. Yeah, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining our live today. I think last week I was in the TV. I was in the TV show live. Yeah, so we couldn't do a live session for last week. And last Wednesday, exactly Wednesday, which is our day for live. So on last Wednesday, we did a live topic in 8TV, on the TV show called Living Delight 8度空间的活力加油站. So the topic was talking about vitamin D for anti-cancer effect. Yeah. So okay, so let's come back to today's live. So welcome again and thank you for joining to everyone. Yeah, with me today. So today's we'll be talking about a very interesting topic, which is about a man's middle age crisis. We call it menopause. Yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, if your husband who are like recently getting more emotional, something wrong with him, yeah, that you notice, yeah, or maybe guys, yeah, you yourself probably do not know that probably you are having some changes biologically, your body is having some changes, but you do not know why. Yeah, maybe this is something happening in your body called menopause. Yeah. So you see, menopause, we call it menopause, is a female term where it's actually meant for a female aging, where it's starting to cease in the functioning of ovary, the menses will stop, and the uterus will shrink, and the hormones production will be lesser. But how about men? Men doesn't have this menstruation and doesn't have this ovary sort of like functioning for fertility effect. But men also have a kind of aging changes where the overall well-being and the level of hormones also will deteriorate. But it's not as simple as just hormone. It actually sort of like together with some biological changes which causes the effect of aging, we call it menopause. Yeah, in this sense, it actually critically or significantly affecting a lot of middle-aged guys. So that's why we want to have a discussion today, so that more people to know about it and also to let you all understand it about understand more about this topic. Okay, so let's start and begin. And welcome again to everyone. I welcome every one of you to ask questions if you have any particular questions related to yourself. All right. So thank you for joining again. I'm Dr. Jeff from the River Clinic, and this is our live every Wednesday together here to sort of share more information and knowledge about health and beauty. Okay. So of course, we want to have a healthier lifestyle. So, ladies and gentlemen, how are you recently after opening of this border in Malaysia? A lot of people travels everywhere, right? So, are you busier in your business, in your work? Yeah, and also, do you starting to go back to your routine lifestyle as usual before MCO? Yes. How do you find the coping ability? Do you find that it's like getting more and more difficult, stressful? Yeah, yeah. You can always chit chat and share with us here. Okay. Yeah, so thank you for joining, Judy, Shan. Yeah, okay. All right. So today's our topic will actually cover a little bit about who will be the candidates who are potentially having this menopause issue, and at what age is generally this menopause issue will start, and what age is where we should start paying attention whether we ourselves as a guy has this probably facing this issue without we knowing it, and what is actually happened in the body that causes this menopause, and what will be the health problems presenting out of it, and what are the risks of diseases. Okay, if a guy is having a menopause, what are the risks of diseases that the person will have, and how about the changes of menopause reflecting or affecting on a relationships problem. Menopause is actually more reflecting into sort of like problem or psychosocial impact where it actually disturbs or impact on the relationship of a person. Yeah. So, and also how long this condition usually will last, right? And also, should we pay attention, and what are the symptoms that we need to pay attention to if you do have this menopause issue? But among so many symptoms of menopause, what are the symptoms that we should pay more attention to, or what symptoms that actually sort of like signify that we should start paying attention and do something on it? Yeah. And then, of course, about solutions. If you do have this menopause issue, then if you would like to improve it or prevent diseases and to improve your relationships and improve your health condition, yeah, how should you do it? What can you do and what to achieve? All right. So thank you for joining. Let's start. So okay, first we will discuss a little bit on who should we pay attention to. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So usually menopause, okay, starting around late 30s or early 40 years old. You may not really feel it yet, yeah, but it actually starts as early as this early 40 years old. So when you starting to have some sort of like demotivation, lack of aggressive, yeah, lack of like sort of like pushing, yeah, in your work, in your routine, it tends to be like more relaxed, want to chill off, yeah, enjoy life sometimes. So yes, it is part of the life level, but the thing is, this is also relates with your biological changes where you are starting to deplete in certain hormones and your metabolism. Yeah, so usually it start as early as early 40 years old, and meaning to say, if you are like more than about 40 years old, you should get to know this menopause and see whether is it something you do have. Okay. If you are more than 40 years old and lacking of exercise, if your lifestyle pattern is always busy, no time for exercise, no time for so busy with work, no time for doing some exercise, or even you don't have any routine exercise habit, this is something, then okay, you should get to know about this menopause earlier than the rest, because those guys who do not have routine exercise in their lifestyle will tend to have more significant menopause symptoms and also risk of diseases or aging, and they may have menopause issue earlier in their age. Yeah. So, and also, okay, ladies and gentlemen, if anyone's guys, especially if you found that yourself is having low stamina, wherever, let's say when you're exercising, yeah, when you are working, you're just lacking of stamina. Yeah, so this is part of a symptom, and you should start paying attention that you could probably having menopause. Yeah, and if you do have some weight gain, middle age weight gain issue, yeah, especially over your tummy, yeah, or those who are like getting more obese, yeah, since after 40 years old, meaning to say previously you probably are a little bit chubby or overweight, but then you starting to gain weight more and more after you are reaching about 40 years old and above. So it correlates and comes together with lack of exercise, low stamina, but probably you be pointing finger on the factor of obesity due to lack of exercise, and you think that, oh, you overeat, you lack of exercise, and you may think these are the issue. Okay, you may be right, but it's just halfly right. So meaning to say, if a person having menopause, not only because lacking of exercise, your overall metabolism, your physics, your physicals, biological actually changes, and this is why causes your obesity to kicks in or starts on very fast, even can't control it. Let's say if you notice this and you try starting exercise, and you probably feel some improvement, but then the problem still remain. Once you stop exercise, the problems remains. So what does it mean? It means that you have some menopause issue going on. Okay, so whoever who have these factors on with you or sounds similar for you, yes, this is probably you need to pay attention on. Okay. All right. So what actually happened if you have those symptoms and you suspecting yourself to have menopause, or ladies, if you are suspecting your spouse, yeah, your husband who has menopause, what usually happen in their body is there are a few factors. It's not just hormone. Hormone is just one of the factor or main factor, but it actually also correlates with other things, which includes, yeah, the hormone. Beside hormone, it actually includes of muscle mass loss, and also lacking of metabolism. Yeah, so which either due to the muscle accumulation in the body. Actually, fat accumulation will come along with muscle loss and also come along with hormone depletion. So these will overall causes your metabolism level to be lower, and then the symptoms of menopause will be more significant. And what happening is not just hormone changes, overall physical changes of muscle loss, low metabolism, visceral fat collection, gaining weight, all these are the changes of menopause. So lacking hormone may not cause menopause. I mean completely. Yeah. Lacking of hormones together with muscle loss, low metabolism, and increasing of visceral fat are the main causes of hormones of menopause. All right. So these are what happen. Okay, so if you think that you have muscle loss, lacking of exercise, then you're trying to pick up some exercise, which is like weight training, things like that. But if you did that and if you still feel your body fat level is high and your metabolism rate is low, where you couldn't lose those flabby fats and extra weights, which again shows that you have the menopause, not menopause, menopause. Okay. How about hormone? Hormone actually you can do a blood test to examine your level. But sometimes we do find that guys who have menopause issue significantly, but their hormones are still in a normal or optimum zone. Okay, what happened and explainable is because our body, when we gain visceral fat and low metabolism, our sensitive level to hormones will decrease. Meaning to say, if you are having a menopause, at the same time your changes of your physical is gain weight, obese, gain fat, and lack of muscle. Even though your hormones is there, but then your sensitivity of hormone actually become lesser. So it's equivalent to lacking of hormone also. So that's why sometimes if you do have poorer lifestyle, which lacking of exercise, sedentary lifestyle, and you didn't take care of your food and diet properly, that will cause you to experience menopause earlier in your age. Yeah, even as early as late 30s. Okay, so like 35, 36, you already started to have menopause issue. Okay, but in general, it's about 40 years old. Physically, biologically, naturally, everyone will slowly stepping into menopause. But it also depends on your lifestyle. If you do have some good muscle mass training, well kept before since young, then probably you step into menopause in a transient or lesser form, and you may not really seize the big changes or affecting factors so much. And you may not gain weight so easily. So your metabolism still well kept. So in that sense, actually, it makes your hormone more sensitive in the functioning, even though your hormone level drops, but your overall sensitivity of hormone still remains good, which then you don't really feel the significant symptoms of menopause. But you still have menopause. Okay. All right. So what are the problems, and the symptoms that you will always feel in a person who have menopause? The common symptoms are you will feel old feeling. You feel old. Yeah, probably if you look at your face, if you look at your body, you starting to have a feeling that you are like older. Yeah, so this is a kind of mindset or mental kind of changes that you will start to have. Okay, sometimes it's very psychology. Probably when you are reaching about 40 years old, of course, people will say, "Oh, you are older already." But if let's say, if you really really don't feel that kind of feeling, then you should not really feel so impactful with the sentence or the word. But if you do really feel so, then that number of 40 is actually something that you really feels it, right? So it's not just the number, actually it's something that really the hormones changes, the metabolism changes, the muscle mass changes, actually making you really do have that kind of old feeling. Okay. And of course, usually and commonly find that it's also guys who have lacking of motivation whenever they are facing through their life hassles, any challenges or any problems on their life, they will be easier to lack of motivation. Yeah. So always have a self-doubting sort of like condition. Yeah, always have a emotionally self-doubting where you feel hesitate Yeah, you may self curious yourself. So you sometimes you will be hesitate and doubted yourself whether you actually will impact on your confidence level, your well-being, your emotional well-being. Yeah. Okay. And it actually impactful into your career, your works, your business, or your overall well performing performance of your work. Okay. So self-doubting actually happens sometimes uncontrollably. So you may have it, and just by yourself, your inner self will actually showed up the feeling which you can't help it. Yeah. So these are the symptoms or problems that usually facing by a man who are having a menopause issue. So, and also weight gain, sometimes you can't help it also. Yeah, the weight gain will just come along and it just uncontrollably having a weight gain issue. So you're starting to have a uncle belly, so spare tire over your stomachs, where it is a part of uncontrollable and it just happen naturally due to menopause. Yeah, so that's why it's starting to have an uncle look. Yeah, so menopause is usually these are the problems that you can feel it, you can see it, and also you can really sort of like visualize the changes. Okay, so okay, more importantly, from a medical aspect, is actually what are the risks of diseases? Yeah, if a person going through a menopause, yeah, because if you are like, let's say, from a previous factors that I mentioned, if you are like in this age, lacking of exercise, lacking of sort of like motivation, and it actually shows that you have a menopause issue more significantly or earlier in your age, then the risk of diseases is higher in this category of group. So if you do have a well physics trained with good muscles, well motivated, yeah, and also diet habit which is healthy, you may still go through menopause, but then the severity or the intensity of a menopause will not be so impactful, and at the same time the progress may not be so fast. So then the disease risk will actually become lesser. So we need to sort of like pay attention to what is menopause, notify that it's actually happening whenever it's happening, and then we should do effective improvement or preventions to upkeep the condition so that it doesn't get worse fast and it doesn't get worse in the overall severity, so that it can prevent the risk of diseases which is happening down the road if it is becoming more severe. So what are the risks of diseases? Most commonly found is like depressions, yeah, mental challenge where is having a lot of anxiety, depression. So guys, when they are suddenly having a lot of mood swing, moody, anger kind of feeling, which is probably a sort of reflection from their depression inside. Yeah, so part of a menopause, some men who can't help it. Yeah, you will just have this menopause, and depression will just show up and starting to feel negative, very irritable moods all the time, angry, throwing tempers easily. Yeah, with small matters of their life. Life matters. So these are the risks of diseases. Some even worsen and need a medical care, medication. Yeah. So some even have a suicidal thoughts, even of this kind of suicidal intention, which and also significantly impacts the overall well-being of a person. And some will have a significant sleeping disorder, insomnia problem, which causing significantly worsening of the sort of aging and disease cycles. Yeah. So depression is not a small matter. It actually impactful to a lot of impact. The impact is quite huge to a lot of menopause issue. And especially men is on quite a vulnerable sort of like risk and exposure to it. Yeah. So depression. Okay. Yes. So one of risks that we need to pay attention to, and another one is the muscle and joint pains. Overall, it's actually more on muscle and joint and bone aging. Okay, menopause actually is where it starts to have this kind of aging on our bone and muscles and joint, where we tend to have more prone or risk for joint, yeah, aging, arthritis, osteoarthritis, knee arthritis, together with your lifestyle, of course. Yeah, if you are active in sports, then your symptoms of aging arthritis issue will tend to show up more frequent or more obvious during when you're starting to have menopause. Yeah. So you're starting to have back pain, joint pain, muscle aches, always this kind of sakit orang tua kind of feeling. So just you don't have really a big issue, but the pain is just annoying you all the time. Yeah, probably when you are doing works and you bend down and just you just feel the muscle and the back is so stiff and so tight. Yeah, so these are the very common quality of health that actually being affected due to menopause. Yeah. So actually, men also will have a risk of osteoporosis. Yeah. If you do have menopause earlier in your age and your menopause symptoms is more significant, and then your osteoporosis risk is actually higher. And sometimes compared to female, the osteoporosis, if it happens in men, it actually also have quite significant risk of osteoporosis fracture. Even though female, because of female have sudden significant drop of hormones, so then the changes on the osteoporosis or impact on the osteoporosis will start on after menopause and the progression could be quite fast. But men, because if you have menopause issue significantly as early as like early 40s, then along the 10 years to before 50 years old, you're already probably having a more significant osteoporosis condition compared to a female, right? So these are the things that we need to pay more attention to. And of course, one of the very highly attentive sort of like problems usually guys will pay attention to is the sexual weakness. Yeah. So the risk of menopause is actually quite impactful into a men's health, which is on the sexual part. Yeah, men will start to have a weaker erection or shorter durability of the erection. Yeah, or sort of like shorter lasting of the erection. And the ejaculation probably also become weaker, less aroused, and also less sensitive. Yeah, and sometimes probably lacking of this sexual arousal, don't feel interest into a sexual arousal. So these are the symptoms of sexual weakness and quite significantly impactful from menopause issue. Yeah, so a lot of mid-age guys having this crisis, which they starting to notice their menopause issue through weakness of their sexual performance. So it actually can't be sort of like ignore this issue, which affecting a significant amount of psychosocial part of the men. Yeah, the men will feel less confidence in this sense, and in this lacking of confidence will cause them to have a reverse psychology to try off. Sometimes causes a sort of like affair, yeah, where they try to prove themselves again, yeah, through another channel. So a lot of affairs will happen because of this confidence challenge, in terms of weakness in the sexual performance. So the men try to look for another channel to transfer over their psychosocial confidence challenge. So they try to prove themselves again through a different channel. So this will trigger or prompt a lot of guys to go through this kind of challenge. So due to all this menopause issue. All right. Of course, very classically, menopause, is also a significant factors which causes a guys to have a increases risk in getting a disease like hypertension, stroke, heart attack, including also diabetes. Yes. So all these are the aging diseases, which is quite risky for menopause issue. The more significant you have, the more severe you have in terms of menopause, then this risk of these diseases are even higher. Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, I welcome you to ask, so that I can answer to your questions accordingly. Yeah. Well, anyhow, thank you for joining again. Yeah, let's continue talking about menopause issue. So you notice here, menopause here is without a O inside in the beginning of the word. Yeah, we call it menopause. Menopause is actually more for female. Yeah. Okay. So menopause actually, I try to put this word is actually to let you all have a sort of like different differentiation. Get a differentiation between female and males changes. Female is very classical due to the hormone effect per se, but the men is actually more complicated. It's not just hormone, because the hormone drop progressively, slowly, but it's more overall well-being, the muscle, the fats, the metabolism effect. Actually, overall comes together, and the whole thing causes an effect of menopause. Yeah. And this effect is not only affecting the biological problems, which the guys would feel something wrong with it, but ongoing, the body is actually having some aging kind of changes, which are more prone for certain diseases. And this kind of overall changes easily reflects into a relationships circles. Because why? Guys, whenever they have this issue and about 40 years old, it's always at the peak timing where they are on their tip-top career performance. Yeah. So whenever have this issue, causing them to have lacking of motivation, lacking of aggression, so actually affecting a lot on their performance in their career. Especially on those self-doubting, lacking of self-confidence condition, which makes their career even more challenging for them. Probably the career looks the same, but the environment of a career or the work is the same, but the inner self of the person is actually lacking of motivation, lacking of confidence, so that he feel more challenged or more sort of like difficult to go through the hassles and also the troubles that he needs to go through throughout his career or entrepreneurship, or even a lot of these challenges in this working environment. So this affecting a lot of these relationships. So menopause is something that we need to pay attention. It's not because just it is for sexual per se, but actually affecting a lot of quality of health, quality of the society. Yeah. Okay. So especially spouse relationship, a lot of divorce, a lot of affairs. Yeah. So due to relationship affairs are due to this menopause issue, which the man itself can't help it sometimes. Yeah. You may say that, oh, okay, this is due to the man thinking he has this psychology, he just want to enjoy the affairs. The thing is, uh, it comes along. It comes along. Yeah, men changes, the menopause changes actually prompts the body to have this kind of drive towards certain sexual kind of reverse psychology, sort of look for compensation of performance. Okay, so we have to look at it in the more objective way to analyze the whole picture. Yeah, if things happens, must have a reason behind. Yeah, so spouse relationship is actually one of affected, most commonly affected due to a menopause issue. Okay, and family and friends, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, a lot of menopause issue will actually causes a lot of mood problems, depression, actually affecting their circle of lives, and their families relationship, the friends relationship. It could be just impact, sort of like affected just because of the men's pause issue. Okay, so guys, how do you think? Okay, so living and as a guys or men, okay, is being ignored because nobody mentioned about menopause. Everybody talking about menopause. Yeah, and in this menopause, actually, silently, subtly impacting, affecting this kind of men's health without a lot of people paying attention to it. Yeah, why we need to pay attention? Because whenever a man having this issue, especially at middle age, they are going through a lot of psychological sort of stress, especially from like relationship, financials, careers, and their purpose of life are being doubted. Yeah. So for example, if a person at 40 years old, 50 years old, they probably having this menopause, but they may not pay attention to it. Yeah, they thought it's like, oh, maybe the life, the career or the financial stress they are having. So they probably blame those or finger pointing to those things. So rather than look for some treatment that actually can improve your inner health so that he can actually face the challenges, the obstacles better. Yeah, or else if these problems carry on, the menopause carry on, the financial crisis, the purpose of life, the marriage crisis will not be settled easily. Yeah, a person have to go through a very challenging time where he actually having a lot of this financial crisis as a financial challenge obstacles, and at the same time, he also have a lot of these biological changes which he can't understand himself. So always have a say, 人有老，錢有冇，老婆又走佬。Means when you are old, and you have no money, and your wife also gone away, or you have third affair. So things like that. You have a lot of financial challenge. Your purpose of life is sort of like self-doubt again. You self-doubted yourself again. What is your purpose of life? And you are facing a lot of like not only financial crisis, your career crisis, your marriage, your marriage relationships crisis also. A lot of relationships issue with your family sometimes. Something wrong, you may feel that maybe it's your attitude, your behavior, your thinking, your mental, your problems, your emotion, but you just can't help it. You just trapped inside the whole condition. So this is as severe as possible for a menopause issue. That's why we need to pay attention. But sometimes nobody pay attention or even talking about menopause. So guys think it's like stress. So they just want to hang out. Maybe have some hobbies and drink a cup of maybe wine, beers, just want to chill out, relax, don't want to think so much, just enjoy the life, the rest of the life, things like that. Try to relax, try to chill out. So you become like reluctant, ignorant skin kind of thing. In the other way, actually, we should be more objective to look at it, pay attention to it, face it in a sort of like intelligence way, understand it, face it, and you should be able to go through it nicely if you are able to understand it and manage it well. So ladies and gentlemen, so we need to pay attention not only for menopause for ladies, but menopause for guys also is one of the crucial important things that actually affecting around a lot of middle age gentlemen. Okay, so how to address? So now we come to this. So if any one of you, ladies and gentlemen especially, if you do have this issue as we mentioned just now, and if you think that you would like to do something on it, so that you can improve yourself. So when you're going through this middle age crisis, you will feel better. You can reduce or lessen those challenges of relationship problem, career problem, self-doubting problem, a lot of mental, emotional problems. So these are the few advices and common treatment that we do for health and to improve a lot of menopause. So it actually divided into 4 categories. First is from hormones. Second is to on the muscle mass improvement. Number 3 is on the cardio health and metabolism. Number 4, of course, is for fat ratio improvement to improve fat reduction in the body, meaning to say to slim down the body in terms of fat reduction. How to achieve it? So what are the ways of treatment that is possible? Okay, so hormones. Okay, first solution for hormones, it comes from a few hormones that we usually will practice. First is growth hormone. Growth hormone are significantly depleted when after our 20 years old, and it become lesser and lesser until about when you're reaching about 40, it's almost like becoming very significantly dropped. So growth hormone is very important. It's part of our very initial hormones for our overall well-being. So when you're reaching about middle age crisis, part of the growth hormones actually goes off significantly lesser. So it's not just as we understood testosterone alone. Testosterone is only part of the hormone happening in the menopause, but it's not all. What happening is actually not only testosterone, but you're also having growth hormone reduction. And coming together with thyroid hormone and DHEA hormone coming depletion together, all this hormone depreciation will actually causes and are the impact sort of like important hormones impactful for the menopause. So as what we conventionally understand and get to know is probably something to do just testosterone, and you think that menopause is something to do for the sexual problem, weakness, but the problem is not as simple as that, and it's not just solely for sexual. It's overall well-being. Growth hormone reduction will cause you to gain weight, to cause you to have muscle loss, and also causing you to starting to have a lot of aging problems in your body. Your hair starting to drop, your skin become loose and laxity. And your testosterone will cause your overall muscle, your bone, your heart become weaker over time. And also testosterone will reduce your aggression, the motivation, kind of emotional feeling, and of course for sexual drive. And thyroid hormone is actually part of a metabolism driver. So if you have low thyroid hormones, which normal but low optimum, so you will also have a low metabolism, which will reflect into low energy, tired, and lack of motivation, and you feel sleepy. This kind of feeling. Lacking of DHEA will makes you for sort of like weaker in terms of stress handling. So then you will have sort of like easier to fed up, easier to give up, and you will be able to it will be more difficult to take up some challenges. So sometimes you may confuse whether those are the thinking problem or the biological problem. Actually, it comes along. The answer is it comes along. All right. So, okay, another solution is to look into a muscle mass. Okay, before that, for hormones, actually, all these are available in terms of the supplementation, hormone supplementation. So all these can be supplemented accordingly. After the blood test, we can supplement accordingly to improve your hormone level so that you achieve an optimum level. Then it improves your menopause symptoms. At the same time, it reduce or prevent the risk of menopause risk of diseases like mood swing, mood problem, your sort of like sexual problems, and also your risk of diseases, hypertension, diabetes, or things like that can be prevented if you do a well cap of your hormones level. Okay. So second solution is looking into muscle mass. Of course, if you do train your muscles since young, your muscle has already awakened up. So then to sustain it, of course, you need to keep on with exercise, and to sustain it, at least you will be able to do it and sustain it. But if you never have any awakened muscle, so meaning to say you never train and build your muscles, so when you're reaching menopause issue, your muscle mass is lesser than the rest. So you will have more significant menopause issue, and you will sort of like having more sort of resistant to hormones, especially testosterone, and also your thyroid hormones and sort of DHEA hormone. So this will cause your menopause issue to be more severe. So how to train your muscles? There are a few things you can supplement. Start on the hormones first, and of course, training with certain appropriate exercise method like cardio, core muscle training, and also weight lift. And we will also sort of use some technologies to improve and awaken our muscle mass like M-Sculpt. One of the technology available now, we call it M-Sculpt. One of the treatment to awaken the muscle mass, so that when you awaken the muscles, then only after when you do training on that, your muscle will grow and become more actively performing in a better capacity of the muscle. So in this sense, you can have an opportunity again to grow your muscle mass, and by growing your muscle mass, you actually can improve your whole body hormone sensitivity function. So when your hormones function in a more sensitive way, your body do actually carry on better function for the hormone, then the menopause symptom will improve. And the progress of a menopause issue will also become lesser. Okay, so these are the techniques. So menopause is one of the muscle mass is one of the solution. Usually it comes together, not only muscle mass build up, we also do together, meaning to say hormone supplementation together with muscle mass. So it goes together. Then the solution is another thing is cardio health. Cardio health is also related to hormone supplements and also exercise. Try to keep yourself with some cardio exercise, right? Running, cycling, swimming, things like that. But of course, it may not solely depends on exercise. You need to optimize on your certain hormones, especially your thyroid hormones. Cardiac or our heart is part of the organs which it actually works almost 24 hours a day, every day. So you will age whenever when you're reaching 40 years old, the muscle mass become sort of like strained and weaker. So what we need is actually something to do which can help to regrow the muscle. The potential treatment that actually can be used is also, we call it exosome and also stem cells, which also promote a better cardio health together with thyroid hormones, testosterone hormones, and of course your routine daily exercise. So stem cells, exosome treatment, okay, thyroid hormones, testosterone hormones, okay, especially thyroid hormones actually play a very important function role for the cardio health. Yeah, together with your exercise, cycling, swimming, and also running is also part of the cardio maintenance. So when you're reaching 40 years old, you have to go along and see whether your body needs some supplementation or not. Meaning to say, if you do exercise routinely, but your exercise performance is weaker, you can't really do as aggressive or sort of like as exhaustive as possible. So means you can supplement yourself. Even normal supplement like coenzyme Q10, also part of the hormones, not hormone, part of the minerals or supplements that can help to improve your heart function. You can go along this way on like coenzyme Q10. If necessary, then only you go for thyroid or testosterone or this kind of hormone supplementation. If necessary, then only you go for machine treatment. Okay. Or then there are another stage to go is actually exosome or stem cell treatment. So depends on your needs or severity. All right. Okay. So another things to pay attention to on the solutions method is visceral fat reduction. So menopause actually one of the most significant or major impact on the problems is actually visceral fat accumulation. Visceral fat accumulation in the body will cause this central obesity. You will gain weight over your tummy. And you are starting to have this uncle look, uncle body shape. And this visceral fat reduction is the most important culprit for all these aging diseases, for heart attack, stroke, hypertension, diabetes, this kind of conditions. So visceral fat reduction is also one of a major important reason why your body becoming less sensitive to hormones. So if you do a blood test, your hormones level is normal, but if your visceral fat is high, you probably facing a problem of lacking hormone, which your hormone is there but it's not functioning. And this visceral fat is also causing a person getting into a distorted metabolism where your body will accumulate more visceral fat by itself. You will gain weight automatically or easier along all the time. And then you will have a very difficult to reduce weight if your visceral fat is on the higher side. The higher your visceral fat level, the higher the visceral fat level in your body, the more difficult for you to lose weight. And then your body will have higher inflammation characters in the body. Then it will reflect into weaker immune system and more inflammation characters in the body. And you will also on the higher risk on diabetes, high cholesterol, hypertension, stroke, and heart attack issue. So visceral fat is actually something that once you got it, you will get trapped by it, and you will just gain more and more. The problem will go on vicious cycle. So this is a sort of scary part of menopause. So, and this is one of a major part of menopause that usually very difficult and challenging to sort of target. But nowadays, we do have evidence-proof treatment to reduce visceral fat, and most impactful and important treatment techniques is by thyroid hormone optimization, and also improving your liver and gut health, by several supplementation. So by this techniques itself is now proven to reduce visceral fat and helps to reduce the inflammation characters from visceral fat. All this will help to lessen the menopause progression and severity, and it will help you to re-energize from the hormones, especially from your testosterone hormones. So visceral fat is one of a common ignore sort of side of menopause, because a lot of guys who have menopause, they probably try on with treatment like testosterone hormone. But testosterone hormone alone may not be standalone treatment. Testosterone hormone may not be standalone treatment to treat the whole spectrum of menopause. So we need to even look into visceral fat reduction treatment, and also look into muscle mass improvement. So we also need to look into cardio health. So these are the full spectrum of menopause that we need to look into it. Okay. Yes. So ladies and gentlemen, and guys, okay, so these are my presentation today, sharing today's in my life, okay, and time flies very fast, okay. So thank you very much for you who joined us in our live today talking about menopause. I hope you all like it and benefited from it. If you do have any questions related to menopause for your wife and for your wife, if you are your wife, if you are a wife or a husband, okay, what am I talking? So if you are your husband is having this menopause or you suspect him is having a menopause, or you yourself, yeah, guys, if you are having this menopause, you are suspecting yourself, yeah, and welcome you all to contact us. Okay, what we do for you is we will advise you to do a blood test, and most of the time from blood test alone and also from the assessment of your symptoms alone, then we can figure out whether you are having a menopause. If you have, and then we can determine at what level you are and what severity you are and how crucial for you for treatment. If you are necessary for treatment, then what treatment will suit you the most and what treatment is necessary for you. Then we will advise you accordingly. Yeah. So most importantly, why we need to pay attention to menopause is we want to treat to the root cause, especially even we have this lifestyles or life problems, our financial crisis, our career crisis, our marriage crisis, our relationship problems. Sometimes the problem is not there. The problem is inner you. So in the men's pause problem. So when we do something on this, actually it actually will reflect improvement over your life and overall well-being. Okay, so this is why it is important and should need more attention from all of you. Okay, so thank you very much again for all of you who listen to my live today, and I thanks you once again and see you again on next Wednesday. So every Wednesday we will stay here together, and in our Facebook Live we share more information for your knowledge and to help you to become more beautiful and healthier. All right. Thank you very much. Bye bye.